Hi friends, welcome back. I'm Elizabeth and this is weight loss update number 30, which is so crazy. So I've been doing Trim Healthy Mama now, I think like 4 weeks or so. And it's going really well. I'm still staying on plan. I'm on plan. I'm still exercising. And so we're going to talk about how everything is going, and I have some different things to share for today. So thank you for joining. So sorry guys if my lighting is a little bit different today. I'm kind of trying something new because it's really cloudy out today. We've been having some really nice days of rain for quite a while, which you don't get too much in the desert. And so I'm like, okay, well, I've got to go ahead and film anyway. But yeah, it's cloudy outside, and so my lighting might be a little bit different today. And so we'll see how that goes. Hopefully you can still see my face at least decently well. So I want to start by saying thank you. I had one really nice comment on the channel that was just where you were saying, you know, I'm here for the weight loss journey, and you know that you were going to keep watching anyway. And I just appreciate that so much. So thank you for saying that. It's really nice to hear that. It's really nice to hear what you guys are thinking. Definitely, I lost some subscribers changing from carnivore eating to this way of eating, and so I definitely anticipated that, but also comments dropped way off as well. So it's hard to know what people are thinking and, you know, what kind of content you want to see, and if you're still enjoying it, you know, when you don't hear from anyone. So I definitely do appreciate the comments. I think most YouTubers do like the interaction and like, you know, hearing the comments, because it just gives us an idea of like who's watching and what you're thinking. And so I really appreciated that comment though, because it is hard to switch up the channel. And so to know that people are still kind of enjoying the content, are still here, you know, to support this journey is really nice. That really was touching. You know, I'm doing this not just to be hopefully helpful or encouraging to someone else who's on the same weight loss journey, but it's really for me as well, you guys. You know, I'm putting it out there because I really do need the accountability. I really wanted to build kind of a support system around this. Losing weight can be kind of a lonely and long journey, you know? And so I was like, you know, this time I'm going to try something different. I'm going to put it on YouTube and see where I get with it. But yeah, I definitely need to do that. I need the accountability. I need it to be out there. So anyway, I really appreciated that comment. If you guys are liking it, please do comment. I'd love to read them. I love to hear it, and I love to interact with you guys. So thank you for that. So the next thing we're going to talk about is another comment that someone brought up, was that you wanted to know why Trim Healthy Mama didn't work for me the first time and what I'm going to do to change it this time, because most of you know that I've done Trim Healthy Mama before. And so I've talked about it really briefly on this channel a couple of times in a couple of videos. However, it's been quite a while. And so I don't mind talking about it again, just briefly. It's a short story, but mainly I was doing this. I've known about this for 8 years, at least 7 or 8 years. It took me a really long time to like start with this program. Getting started with this program for some reason is really hard for me. I think because it already looks a lot like how I just eat normally, but having to remember, okay, well now I can't have that combination with that combination, like it's just different. So staying on plan and sticking with it that long and getting started with it has been kind of hard in the past. There was a point in time about a couple of years ago where I started one summer and I was like all gung-ho determined, like I'm gonna lose this weight now. And I was going to exercise every other day, kind of like I'm doing right now at the same gym, and I was doing it absolutely to a T, and I lost like 50 pounds, and I was a little heavier than I was when I started this, so I'm about the same weight right now that I was when I stopped the first time. And so it was going really well. And then I ended up having an injury where I broke my toe, my pinky toe. And I know that sounds so lame, but you can't walk on it. It hurts so bad. And so I stopped exercising for that period of time. And while that was healing, I ended up hurting my shoulder, tearing my shoulder. And that was awful too. So now all of a sudden I've got a shoulder issue and a foot issue, and so I wasn't going to exercise. And it's kind of like everything snowballed at the same time, because we had a change in job circumstances to where our income like absolutely tanked to almost nothing. It's hard to talk about because it's hard to admit that you were in that position. So if you're going through that as well, I definitely understand. It is very rough. and I was forced pretty much to go off the Trim Healthy Mama plan due to income. I sort of hate talking about it because I don't want to give the Trim Healthy Mama plan like a bad reputation in that it has to be really expensive to do this. It doesn't. You can do this pretty inexpensively if you know how and you have, you know, the tips and tricks to do that. I tend to not do it very inexpensively. It tends to get kind of pricey for me. Of course, healthy food is pricey, and that's what this is. It's healthy food, and, you know, I'm feeding a lot of people, so feeding people this healthy food, you know, it does add up. It really does. And you guys have been seeing, you know, what I'm spending every week and been seeing my grocery bills, and you're seeing what I get and what I buy too. And we really do use it up. We don't have a whole lot of leftovers. We don't throw away a whole lot of uneaten food. We really do use it up, but what I get us. And so, but at that time, I mean, there was literally no budget for food, period. And so we were living off of like the cheapest food we possibly could, like peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and the cheapest box macaroni and cheese. I mean, we were doing just whatever we could to survive. Now, thankfully, that was just a temporary situation. It did not last very long, thankfully. My husband has a really good job now, and we're fine. It's just sometimes life hits you like that. Now, that was a couple of years ago, and I had a lot of trouble even once we fixed everything, like just getting situated again. I think it was just kind of a combination of a lot of life events that were going on. Probably most of you don't know, I haven't talked about it a whole lot on this channel, but we have 5 kids, and a couple of years ago we went from 3 kids to 5 kids really, really quickly within 3 weeks. So we adopted my oldest son, and then 3 weeks later I gave birth to my daughter. So in these past few years, like, that's what I've been doing. All of a sudden I went up to 5 kids, and I was homeschooling like 4 of them, and it was just a lot. It was a lot, even though income-wise we were fine again. It was so much to just get started again. I had a lot of trouble getting started. So the difference this time between last time is that I'm already like on the plan. And that's what I loved about carnivore, is it got me really started with thinking about weight loss again and having that mindset. And so now that I'm in that mindset, yes, I'm going to have to guard, you know, against distractions. I'm going to have to keep with it and stick with it. But part of the battle for me is just starting it. And now life circumstances are a lot different. So my oldest has graduated from high school, which is great. Actually, we just sent him off to boot camp a couple of weeks ago. And so he's at boot camp right now to become a Marine. So that's a little something kind of off my plate. My oldest one is a senior this year. He'll be going off to college in a year from now. But my youngest is 5. And so that's really, really helpful. I mostly just have my 3 girls to take care of. One is pretty independent with her schoolwork, so it's really just the littlest 2 that I'm working with. And I'm finding this school year, it's been a lot easier to have our school in the kitchen and I just be making my food at normal intervals. I'm having a lot of success with remembering to eat and eating at normal times and not just going the whole day being too busy to even eat or worry about it. And so now that I'm in the groove of it, I feel like my life circumstances are just different this time. And so I'm hoping, you know, that this is it. Like, I'm planning to stick with it. So that's what went on. It really didn't have anything to do with the plan. It really had to do with the change in life circumstances. And thankfully, my husband's got a great job. It's a secure job. You know, we're doing fine. I think we'll be fine. At least that's the hope. But, you know, you never know. You never know what life's going to throw at you. And you do what you can at that time. And that's just where we were at with it. But it really didn't have anything to do with the plan. This is really an easy, lifelong plan. As long as you understand it and you get into the groove of it, it does get really, really natural. So that's what I love about it. Anyway, I hope that answers your question. That's what went wrong last time. And I'm definitely in a different life circumstance now. And so it was time. It was time to really pay attention to this. So I am committed, but I love being able to put it out there and share it with you guys because it definitely adds like another layer of just accountability for me. Oh, you guys, it's like so hot in here and I can't have the fan on because it'll be loud, but I'm just like sweating. These lights, I'm like sweating. All right, so let's give an actual weight loss update, like where I'm at. The scale has not moved, and if I'm being really honest, it's probably up just a couple of pounds. Like, you know how it fluctuates, but it's been like kind of stationary up a couple of pounds this week to where I feel like that might actually be not just fluctuations, but a little bit more weight, like creeping up a little bit on the scale. And so, yeah, it's definitely just not going in the right direction. And I'm doing everything right. I'm staying with the plan. I'm switching my meals. I'm doing everything correct on this plan, at least as strict as I possibly can. Like, I don't think there's anywhere that I could necessarily improve at this point. And so I'm doing my exercise. I went all 3 times this week, and that feels really good. I'm really loving the exercises. I feel more like compact in my body. Like I can feel areas that are growing muscle. I can feel the muscle a little bit more. I feel areas getting a little bit of definition or toning up a little bit. And I mean, I'm talking just a little bit. Like, you know, I can feel a difference. You can't really see it or tell yet. I mean, when I say definition, I mean there's no areas that are like real defined yet or anything. There's still a lot of weight to lose, but I can notice a little bit of a difference, and that feels really good because I just feel like smaller or more compact in my body, and I feel stronger. Like my body feels more limber. It just can move easier and better. So I'm really enjoying that. So I'm doing my part. I'm doing the exercising and I'm doing the eating. And so now I'm at the point where I'm like, okay, it's been like 4 weeks or so. I've really gotten acclimated with this plan. I've been on plan, and I need to see the scale like keep moving down in the right direction, or I need to troubleshoot, okay, what can I do? So at this point, I have a couple of options. Whenever you're a slow loser, they call it turtle losers, or whenever you are just not seeing as much success as you would like, just eating the normal way with kind of how you combine your food, you can try something called a fuel pull day or a fuel pull cycle. So you can eat a full day where you're eating foods called fuel pulls, where they have protein in them, but they don't have a whole lot of either fats or carbs. They're just kind of more neutral, like a lot of the different non-starchy green veggies. Like they're just kind of neutral. Berries are neutral. So, you know, protein powder, any kind of proteins are neutral. So you can do days where you're just doing like fuel pulls the whole day. They don't recommend doing that all the time. You want to keep your metabolism revving, but you do little things like that to kind of change it up and keep your metabolism guessing. So I'm thinking at this point, you know, I'm at a stage where I need to do that. If you're finding that that's not even working too well by just adding that in for a few days, you can do a whole fuel pull cycle, where it's actually like a 2-week cycle, and you go through whole days of like the S meals, and then you go through whole days of the E meals, and then you throw in a couple of days of the fuel pulls, and it's this whole cycle, and there's like a whole science behind it. There's a whole thought process behind it of what it does to your body and what it's doing to help shed some of the weight. So when I was doing this before, I did add those in. You can only do 1 2-week cycle like every couple of months. You don't do it all the time. You just kind of vary it. And so I was definitely adding those in as often as I could. So that might have been what helped me definitely drop those 50 pounds initially. And so yeah, I am finding that I definitely am going to have to be adding those in. However, this time I'm now aware of something called protein sparing modified fasting. And I haven't still looked into it very much yet. I still need to really research it and research the differences of everything. And I do want to make videos on all of those. And I'm going to be experimenting with both the fuel pulls and the protein sparing modified fasting, and just seeing which one works better for my body. How do they compare? How do they differ? And so I'm curious about both of those. So that's my goal for this week, is at the very least to research both of them, learn how to do both of them, maybe do a day of it, put it into practice and see how it goes, or at the very least just be set up for it for next week to go full course with it. So yeah, I'm thinking about if I like the protein sparing modified fasting, that I might just do like 1 or 2 days a week of that, and just have it varied like that. I'm hoping that will just continue to help the weight kind of go down while I do the normal thing kind of in between. So that is my goal for this week. I really want to see the scale definitely moving down a little bit more and having some actual weight loss, because it's time, because it's been, I think, probably 6 or 7 or maybe even 8 weeks now where I really haven't seen the scale move. I've been stuck in the same couple of pounds range, and I'm so glad to be maintaining it, but at the same time, like, this is work. Like, it does not just fall off my body. It's really work. You have to think about it. You have to pay attention to every single thing you put in your mouth, which is a little different than if you were just in maintenance mode. And so yeah, I'm giving this my attention, and I'm giving this my time and effort, and if I go too long of not losing anything, it's so easy to just start making exceptions, you know what I mean, here and there. Oh, it doesn't matter. Well, it does matter. So I want to see this going efficiently, if that makes sense. So anyway, that's where I'm at with everything. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I think that's all I have for today, and I'll check back in next week and we'll see how I went with at least researching it, you know, what I'm going to try first, or maybe I've even tried a day and I can kind of report on that. So we'll see how that goes. Thank you so much for watching. Take care, you guys. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.
Start to sail on these ocean waves. Nobody knows how to find us. It's turning out to be be a perfect day. I just wanna leave our normal lives behind us. So let's get lost out here. No